Mr Speaker.
Reno Tirakatni.
Tēnā koe, Mr Speaker. Tuatahi, me mihi atu ki a koutou e ngā iwi o te tauihu o te waka. Nau mai, hara mai ki te wharepara mata e takatū nei. He rā whakahirahira tēnei. Huri noa i aku rangatira i te whare, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa. Mr Speaker, I'm delighted to be here in this House this morning to speak at the second reading of the Te Tauihu Claim Settlement Bill, sir. Not fog, nor thunder, nor rain, nor any other thing that, whether that tawhiri mātia could throw at me, would hold me back from being here in the House this morning. And it may have held toe back, but not me. But I'm delighted to speak in support of this bill, sir. Sir, as you can see, this bill is some 480 plus pages long. It is a voluminous bill. It is a very significant bill. And it settles the claims of all of the tribes of Te Tauihu o Te Waka. Rangitane, Ngāti Kuia, Ngāti Yapa, Te Atiawa, Ngāti Tama, Ngāti Rārua, and Ngāti Koata, all resident in Te Tauihu, and Ngāti Toa Rangatira of Porirua, who also have shared interests and proprietary rights in the south, as well as in Te Whanganui a Tara. So it is a significant bill, sir, and I'm very proud to have been a member of the Māori Affairs Committee. We met on several occasions to hear public submissions on this bill, and as is always the case, sir, with every submissions hearing that I've sat through, there are those that are for and in support of a bill, and there are those that are against. Those that are for are generally those who have done the hard mahi, the hard graft to actually bring this bill into to fruition, and they are generally, satisfied and want to hurry the passage through because the work has been done. Unfortunately, some of the submissions are against, sir, and obviously they voice their opposition quite strongly. And we heard some strong opposition from certain submitters, sir. Just to canvass a range of the issues that we covered at Select Committee, and I'm only selecting a few because it is such a huge piece of legislation and it spans such a wide geographic area and numerous iwi and waka groups. But sir, we heard submissions from the Port Nicholson block in Atiawa against Ngāti Toa regarding redress in central Wellington, and also Ngāti Toa's interest in Taputaranga in Island Bay. The issue of that police station is a complex argument between the tribes and the negotiators and the lawyers. There was 11th hour legal action, as we know, by Te Atiawa, and that led to some frustrating delays. But at the end of the day, Ngāti Toa's presence on the southwest coast is acknowledged by Atiawa, but they are not so accommodating when it comes to Taputaranga. But it seems that these actions really, unfortunately, goes back to the Crown, because previous negotiators with the Port Nicholson block claim, have some explaining to do, just in the way that, it created a quite messy issue that wasn't available during previous negotiations, but then there was a way forward when Ngāti Toa came to negotiate, and that has been acknowledged, and that was an impasse. That was created by the Crown in terms of the negotiations on those respective claims. At the hearings in the South Island, sir, we heard from all the iwi, all in very much supportive of the negotiation process. But it's very true, sir, that more recompense should have been available under these settlements, and that was very much a strong thrust of the submissions from the iwi. But hey aha, they are willing to, get the deal done and to make sure that they can move forward. And I do mihi to them and acknowledge them for that. So in the south, we heard from Pākehā families, for instance, around the Tuamarina area, who are associated to that site regarding public land and reserves being transferred over to Ngāti Toa. And now these Pākehā families are some of the descendants of the settlers that took part in what has become known as the Waido incident. And these people felt that no change was necessary and they were unhappy with the statutory role Ngāti Toa will play in the administration of that reserve. But the Waido Valley and that incident, sir, involving Ngāti Toa and the settlers is a very important footnote in the history of both the settlers and Ngāti Toa. And I think it has been dealt with appropriately through the recognition, and ultimately these matters will require an ongoing relationship being formed between the iwi and the actual resident groups or the people at Tuamarina. And so we can only encourage that is taking place and will take place into the future. Still in Waido, sir, there was a family, a Pākehā family by the name of Fairhall, who asked for the return of some land which was acquired under the Public Works Act to build the Woodburn Air Force Base. This land has been earmarked by the Crown to use in the treaty claim settlement negotiations. The family say it is at their expense, and they've recently gone to the High Court, I understand, for a judicial review on that particular matter. But just as the Public Works Act has been a taniwha for many Māori whānau hapu right throughout the country, it was interesting that it applies not only to Māori but also to Pākehā families as well. So there were many other submissions from various other hapu, and I'm thinking internally within the rangitāne. But I think of significance, sir, was the submissions really in relation to the Wakatu Incorporation and other of the historical land entities within the Top of the South Nelson, Waido, Top of the South area, and their assertion that their rights have been overridden through these settlements. My only comment to that, sir, is that ultimately these settlements are about the iwi. These settlements are about them working together as the Crown has done on a regional grouping basis. And ultimately, the outcome that has been achieved in this legislation, sir, benefits all of the iwi members in Te Tauihu o Te Waka. Whether they are shareholders in Wakatu Incorporation or Ngāti Rārua Ātiawa Iwi Trust or Wellington Tents Trust or other historical land entities and corporations, this is an iwi-wide settlement, and the iwis have gone through a tremendously long process to establish themselves and to get to this point, and ultimately all of the whānau benefit because they're all members of the iwi. And so that's the only way I can really address the mamae of maybe certain whānau. There's mamae right across all the whānau of Te Tauihu, which is you can never really adequately address it, sir. But this is an iwi-wide settlement, and the 8 iwi who have participated have done so in good faith, even though there has been oppositions from corporate organisations like the Wakatu Incorporation. They have stood strong, and that has prevailed, and we tautoko it here through at the second reading, sir, that this bill continues its passage. Sir, one of the sadder parts of the submissions around this bill, sir, was the amount of those who were totally opposed to the treaty settlement process. You know, some made some very racist accusations towards the iwi, towards Māori. In particular, they were accusing certain rangatira of being, murderers of both Māori and Pākehā. Look, it's not for me to go over all of the history. What we're trying to do here is acknowledge that history, but also ensure that the Crown properly recognises the injustice and the grievances of these iwi, and they settle them so they can all move forward. So we heard a few of these submitters, sir. They don't believe that the Crown ever breached the treaty. They probably don't even believe in the treaty. Clearly their thinking is wrong, but it's a sad indictment that there are still intractable parts of society who believe that Māori deserve nothing from the Crown. And some of the letters that were received are quite openly hostile along those lines. So, be that as it may, sir, we heard a range of submissions, but I think, under the guidance of our chair, the committee, we considered everything, all the submitters, and we're very pleased with the outcome that we've come to. And I look forward to uffing the further passage of this bill through the House, and I commend it to the House, sir. Kia ora tātou.
Mr Speaker.
Honourable Nick Smith.
Mr Speaker, this Te Tau Ihu Claim Settlement Bill will be the most important piece of legislation for my community